Welcome to the Mind of Reese podcast. I'm your host, Reese Hilburn, tattoo artist, tattoo shop owner, and spiritual tattoo business coach. Basically, your all-around tattoopreneur. Here to bring you all things tattoo business, marketing, mindset, manifestation, and spirituality. This podcast is meant to help you expand your mind and up-level your tattoo business. I am so excited that you are here. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Mind of Reese. I'm so glad that you are here. Today, we are going to go over a topic that I noticed a lot of my InkSpired students tend to go through a lot. And I'm sure you've been through this before. You're feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you're falling behind. Or feeling like you're too far behind. And I notice this even when, I am, on the very rare occasions I am scrolling on social media, I'll notice that, people will be apologizing for the fact that they haven't been posting for very long. And they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. But when in all actuality, what makes us think that we are falling behind? That gives us, and then once we feel that way, once we have said to ourselves, I'm falling behind, then we get that feeling of overwhelm and that stress. And then all of these feelings start to overtake us. And when we start to operate from the place of I'm falling behind, of stress, of overwhelm, of anxiety, we start to make decisions based on that part of us taking the wheel. And in that, so that's our fight or flight aspect of our lives, where we are either going to fight it or run away from it. And so what we're doing is we're taking our egoic instinct to just do all the things we think we should be doing in order to get rid of the feeling of overwhelm or feeling like we're left behind. And in all actuality, we never give ourselves the chance to ask, is what are we doing? Is all the things that we are doing actually getting us where we want to go in our business? Or is the productivity, is the fact that I'm feeling far behind? Are we utilizing that productivity, that busyness, to mask the feelings of overwhelm and anxiety, to basically not even get rid of it or try to solve the issue of the reasons why we're having that inside of us, why we're having this feeling inside of us? Instead, we're trying to mask it with more busy work, more posting, more design work, just being busy in order to mask the root cause of what's happening. And when we do that, we end up doing all the things, becoming even more overwhelmed, becoming even more burned out, and then noticing that the results that we're hoping to get through all this quote unquote busyness is actually not giving us the results that we want, and especially not the feelings that we want of happiness, of peace, and of joy. And we can't have happiness, peace, or joy when we operate from this part of our brain. We have to be calm. We have to give ourselves space for peace. We have to find the root cause of why we believe, because it's a belief within you, believe that you are falling behind, which in turn perpetuates overwhelm, perpetuates stress, perpetuates the running around like a chicken with your head cut off, apologizing online for being gone for so long, all these things. You shouldn't be apologizing for that. Take your fucking time off. You know what I'm saying? So this is where we want to dive a little deeper within us. And this is a big reason why I always tell all of my students in my seminars, in my classes, in my coaching courses, that the biggest key to unlocking your success is within you. It's not outside of you. Yes, you will need to take action in order to get to where you want to go. We are in a 3D realm. We are on this planet. We are humans on this earth. But in order to get to where we want to go with inspired and alignment, all alignment means is that you have balance within you to discern what is going on. You have the awareness to understand what is going on inside you. You have the emotional intelligence to understand how to put out the fires in your own mind. That's all it is. That's what having balance is about. I understand this day and age, everybody's talking about balance, how we get balance in our business. Balance. Let me just say one thing first off. Yeah, you're going to need some balance, but we need to define what balance is. And balance within you, the balance inside of you, understanding who you are, the discernment of what's going on in your own mind, being aware of the beliefs that come up for you, the triggers that come up for you, the shadows that come up for you during, various experiences and situations that arise within you, such as feeling like you're falling behind, and then that leads to overwhelm, then that leads to burnout. So we have to really be courageous and brave to stop and not do and go inward and ask the tough questions. Ask the whys. See your fears. Why are you afraid of falling behind? Because falling behind is just a story that you created within your own mind. So why have we created this story? Let's just go down this. Let's just pretend that this is my world, okay? And that I feel that I'm falling behind. And that instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to not do. I'm not going to get into busy work, start posting a bunch of things on Instagram, apologizing and saying, hey, I'm so sorry. I've been falling behind. I haven't posted in a month or so. And, I've just been so busy, that kind of thing. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm going to stop. Because I've decided that, what? I do want balance in my life. And where balance starts is when I start to go inward. So when I start to go inward, when I start to get stillness, when I start to really look at my feminine energy and just be like, you know what? I am going to focus on you, because my whole life I focused on the masculine energy of doing and strategy and systems, which is wonderful. Because if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't have got me here to this point. So there's no wrong or right way of doing this. You are perfectly perfect where you are. This is no shame in the game. You know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. And so allow yourself the compassion to not know the things you don't know until this very moment, until you become aware, until something just clicks, until something just epiphany clicks. You have this, grand awakening where you're just like, holy shit, there's another way. There's another way to running a really, really successful business, and it involves me not doing so much. I'm fucking in. Right? So we want to look at it that way. So let's say this is what's happening for me. I'm feeling like I'm falling behind. All of a sudden, I start to feel the feeling of overwhelm. I'm feeling this in my belly. I'm feeling it in my heart, in my chest, where I'm starting to feel that anxiety, that pull. It's like when you drink some caffeine all of a sudden, and then you're like having the shakes a bit, right? Okay, so now I'm sitting with myself. I've decided I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to go into meditation or something. I'm going to ask myself the hard questions. Okay, so why do I think I'm falling behind? Well, every time I go on Instagram, I notice everybody else posting and killing it and seeming like they're in their creative flow. And I just don't feel creative right now. I feel stuck. Why do I feel stuck? Why do I feel stuck? Well, because I keep trying to figure out what to do, and I'm doing all these things and nothing's getting me anywhere that I want to go, or fast enough that I want to go. So I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough. Okay. So you're feeling like you're not enough for this world as you are, who you are right now. Okay, so here's a little bit of the belief here. We're starting to feel like, okay, I'm not enough. When in your life were you told that you were not enough? Well, when I was in high school, even though I made really, really good grades, I could never really get the attention from my parents because they were so busy doing their thing. So I never felt like that was enough. Oh, okay. So now we're diving deeper. We're getting into the experiences that are triggers. We're noticing that what it is that's causing us to feel left behind, to feel overwhelmed, is so much deeper rooted into something that was an experience within us from childhood, from teenage years, or from whatever. And we're starting to discern, whoa, okay. I actually don't feel like I'm good enough. And, my inner child, my inner teenager always felt like she had to do so much more in order to be seen or heard, in order to be loved, because she knew that making good grades, having all these achievements it felt like it equaled success, which equaled more love. Oh, then you start to feel like you start to go into the senses of your own body, and you have to realize that like your inner child knows no logic. Obviously, logically, that's not true. It's not true. That belief is not true. That you are worthy of love no matter what. We know that. We would tell our own kids that. We would tell our best friends that. But what we don't understand, our psyche, our inner child psyche, does not understand logic. It only understands the feeling. You can't logic your way out of it. That's the masculine energy. That's why we have to really, really cultivate this deep inner knowing, this deep inner wisdom of feminine energy, because there will be a lot of times where you'll be going through this motion. You'll be going through the questions. You'll be going down deep and you're just like, oh, but that's not true. I am worthy of love. I am deserving. I do a lot, I am deserving of success. I do a lot and all this stuff. You can't logic your way out of it. What you have to do, because you can't logic a child. Can you logic a child and tell them that? They don't quite understand it. So what do? We soothe the feeling. We learn how to self-soothe ourselves. We learn how to validate ourselves. We learn how to love ourselves. We learn how to understand our worth, without all the doing, without having it to be because of something, without condition. There is no condition that you need in order to just be loved, or that to know that you are worthy. You are innately worthy just by breathing and being alive. Period. Believe that. It took me a long time to really believe that. I'm still learning how to believe this. There are a lot of things that happen where I'm like, yeah, I got this. Like I go through my shadows, I go through my therapy, I talk to my inner child, on a regular basis, making sure that when she is triggered that I'm in there soothing her. And then what do I do? I don't want to ignore it, because ignoring it is just going to perpetuate more of it. I'm going to perpetuate more overwhelm, perpetuate more falling behind, perpetuate apologizing for the fact that I decided not to post for a month. Fuck that. Don't apologize for that shit. The only person you're trying to apologize is trying to soothe yourself, is soothing yourself. You're trying to make yourself feel better with a Band-Aid instead of cleaning the wound, cutting off all the infected area, which hurts. That shit hurts. It's scary. I don't want to cut off skin. That's weird. And then cleaning it with alcohol, which hurts, washing it out and allowing it to start to heal itself. Constantly having to go back in there and cleaning it out. We can't just patch it up and hope that if we just don't look at it, it's going to be healed. That's not the way it works. It's just not. And so when you do the hard questions, you don't bypass the fear. You notice the fear. Then this is where you can course correct. You can course correct to a brighter energy. You're like, all right, so now go back to the example of it all. Okay, so I was the Reese that was overwhelmed and all this stuff, and I'm figuring out I'm not enough, and I'm realizing that the reason why I feel that way is because I was taught to feel that way, like a societal conditioning from parents, not meaning to, like that nobody ever means to make you feel a certain way. I mean, maybe some, but at the end of the day, nobody means it, because it's their own traumas, it's their own triggers, it's their own beliefs within themselves that makes them feel that they need to do the thing that they're doing at the time. And they don't know how it affects us over time. And that's just inevitable. That's the reason why we're on this planet, is we're here to refine ourselves. That's your soul's mission, is to refine you. It's to refine the person that you were born to be. And so you have all these experiences and stuff to kind of, give you the wayward way of being like, all right, you got this. Let's go. The more shit you've gone through, the more the universe believes, the more your own soul believed when it decided to choose the body, the person, the parents that you have as of right now, is because that soul believed that you were strong enough to fucking handle it. So if there's a lot of shit going on in your life, just know that you are strong enough to handle it, and you are much stronger than you believe. Okay. So when we course correct, so I've gotten down all the way down. I'm like, all right, well, I have this feeling inside me that I can't just heal overnight. This is going to be a trigger, but I am aware of it. And now I have meditated. I've gone still instead of doing more, instead of trying to create more content, create more stuff, fill my books to make sure that I'm making enough money. So the money equals success and success equals self-worth. And so I'm not doing all of these things. I've decided to get quiet, which is really scary because not doing anything is really scary for a lot of us. When we feel like we're putting ourselves in the stressful situation of a lion being around the corner, and the lion not really is, there's no lion, there's just a kitten. But we make it into a lion because of the stories we tell ourselves, because we're falling behind, and that overwhelm, and then that stress comes. And we're like, oh my God, there's a lion. But it's like, no, there's a little baby kitten around the corner that you're just creating into a lion. And so now we're like, okay, I'm shaking. I got to stop doing. I got to start being. I got to start going inward and understanding who I am. I got to start breaking the barriers within me to understand so I could get to the next level me. Because the moment that you are aware of it, you begin to release. It's like having a tire with a slow leak. You begin to release the belief because you've decided to choose a different way. You decided to choose a different path. And when we decide to choose something different, we get different results. Crazy, right? Mind-blowing, I know. And I'm not saying what you are doing now, again, is anything bad. There's no wrong or right. There's no wrong or right. There's only learning and growing. That's it. It's learning and growing. And we will continue to learn the same old lessons over and over again until we decide to grow, until we decide to choose a different way. And this is the way. Well, this is the way that works for me for sure. This is the way that works for my students. This is the way that works for the people that, are in my space. And I imagine that's you because you're here. So we've done the dirty work. We've gotten aware. We're talking to our psyches. We're talking to our inner child. We're soothing our inner child. We're like, you know what? I see you that you feel like you're not enough, but you know what? You are enough. You're enough just by being you. And it's okay that we have these feelings. It's okay. It's okay that you have these feelings because they got us here. They helped me survive up until this point. But you know what? We're going to choose something different today. And I know it's going to be a little scary. But you know what? I got you. The universe has got us. And this is the thing that I tell my inner child. Trust me. It sounds a little crazy. But it's just cognitive therapy, really. It's a form of therapy that I'm offering to myself. And so when I offer this therapy to myself, I'm offering myself self-soothing. I'm offering myself a lot of self-love and compassion and space and patience because I know I'm going to need to be patient in order for me to really get over this belief because I just can't bash it right overnight. But the moment you allow, the moment you get aware, it's like that tire. It's like that tire with a slow leak. You're starting to let it go. And you're going to, and once that tire is totally empty, you're like, I got to refill this up with new air. The old air obviously is gone, got new air. And when we create new space within us, we allow ourselves to think differently, to do differently, to be inspired by the actions that we're doing, to actually operate from a really calm, peaceful nervous system. And when we do that, we allow ourselves to take inspired action and our eyes open up. You no longer have the horse blinders on your eye, over your eyes. You've removed the horse blinders so that you can become more aware of the other opportunities around you. And then when we have that awareness of the other, of the more, we attract more. Then when I take a month off, I don't feel fucking left behind. I feel like, no, that was my inner wisdom saying I needed that break in order to come back and show up as my highest and truest self. Because when I operate from that person, When I operate from the person that has it all, when I envision who is the person I am being that is the place is where I want to go. How does that person over there act? How does the Reese in the future act with all the things that she wants, including all the mental and tangible things that she wants? She wants to feel more confident. She wants to feel less stressed. She wants to feel more balanced. She wants to make a fuck ton of money and work in less days. She wants to help people. She wants to impact lives. She wants to travel the world. Who is that girl I need to operate about? How does she think over there? I want to know, because then I want to start being that person today, because I want to attract all the things that future Reese has. So ask yourself the question, who is the person out there in the future that I need to be right now in order to get to where I want to go? That person over there is a lot less stressed, has a lot of balance in their lives. I want the girl that operates from a peaceful place. And you know what? I used to think this about a year ago, and I can't even tell you how much gratitude I hold for the leaps and bounds in healing that I've done for myself. I've got so much more to do, but just to know that I am operating from this place. And I'm just like, wow, this is actually really fucking amazing. I'm doing the thing I said I wanted to do a year ago. And here I am operating as that girl. What's the next level? Where's my next level me? Where's another expanded version of myself? How much more can I heal so I can expand in my business? That's why I always tell people healing is your business. Healing is your business. People need to understand that. Your healing is a part of your business. If you are not operating from the highest level you are doing a disservice to all of your clients out there, because you are not creating tattoo artwork the way that you could be. You're not creating content the way that you could be, impacting people the way that you could be, because you're operating from a space of beliefs, fear-based beliefs, limiting beliefs. So the only way we can course correct on those beliefs is to dig deep. Every time we get a trigger is an opportunity. Every time you get upset or annoyed. The other day I was got super annoyed. This lady lets her dog take a shit outside my window. And I'm like, ah. And then I had to sit with that. I was like, okay, why does this really bother me? Okay. And then there was parts of me that was because I care. And then it's oh, no, I care about people, what they think of me. And she just doesn't care. At first it was she just doesn't care about her neighbors. She's rude. That was my first thought. And I was like, all right, Reese, let's dig a little deeper here. And this is just a dog taking a shit, Now, I don't know if she's rude or thinks anything like that. But at the end of the day, why I cared so much was because I do care about what people think of me. And then I had to dig a little deeper on that. I was like, or am I doing things just so that I don't get people mad at me, or that people still love me at the end of the day? So now I'm asking myself the questions like this. I'm like, okay, so don't get me wrong. I have high respect for my neighbors. That's just who I am. I have high respect because my dog is huge, and I'm not going to leave his big old piles of poo everywhere. That's just not me. I don't want to step in poop. I just know better. I don't want to step in someone's poop. Yes, will I have a conversation with this woman? For sure. And I'll be really nice about it. But I won't go into it being like, you're a rude lady. Da 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 da. You don't care about anybody else but yourself. I would never do that. Although that's my first thought when I see her dogs pooping outside and her not cleaning it up. But when I really realize why I'm getting so annoyed about it, and why it bothers me so much, is actually there's a part of me that believes that I could never do that. I'm not allowed to do that because then I won't be loved. And it's such an interesting thing to literally go through the motions and really dig deep as to the reasons why I get so annoyed for some things, because that shit shouldn't even have really annoyed me. All it should have done is oh, she just lets her dog poop out there. Let me just let her know, hey, your dog just pooped. You mind going cleaning it up? Easy peasy. No big deal. But why it sits with you, if it lingers for any longer than 5 seconds, because if it's not going to matter in 5 years, it sure as fuck shouldn't matter for 5 minutes. That's for sure. So the fact that it even lingered on in my shower, I was like, rude. That's when you have to ask questions. So these are the triggers. These are the moments, the opportunities. The universe is like, oh, you ready? You ready for another download? You ready for another expansion? You ready for transformation? You're ready for transcendence? Okay, here's a little something to sprinkle to your day, and let's see how you handle it. Let's see your reaction. Are you going to be reactive, or are you going to slow down and think? So I was reactive at first. I actually wasn't reactive toward her. I was reactive in my own space. I allowed it to bother me through my shower, which is terrible. But you know what? I needed that in order for me to be, oh, you know what? That is a trigger. I need to get aware. Let me dig. Let's dig. Where is it going? And at the end of the day, it's all fear-based. It's all this, it's like not feeling enough and not feeling loved. You know, there's more self-love that we can offer ourselves so many times out of the day. Just the little crankiness that we have. The person we're pissed off at on the freeway. Why the fuck are we pissed off at someone on the freeway? Because they cut us off. Why is that a big deal? Go through the motions. Now, I'm at this part in my life where I have these are the little ones that you can go through, but the hard ones are the really hard ones. You know, we're going through breakups and things like that. Those are the harder ones that it's really hard to discern where in it that I'm understanding that I'm taking this so personal, and how can I go deep into that? Those are the hard ones. I have hard ones, and I've gone through therapy for those ones. And I continue to go to therapy. I go to therapy once a week. But she's been giving me the resources and the tools so that when I don't see her, I'm not reliant on her. I can do it for myself. And that's the point. It's to do it for yourself so that you're not operating from a place of fear and lack and scarcity mindset, because the only thing we're going to be doing is perpetuating more fear, scarcity, and lack in our life when we vibrate on that level. So when you operate from that place, you vibrate in that place. And that's the reason why it feels like we're not going anywhere. And that's the reason why it feels like we're not doing anything, or we're feeling out of alignment. It's not giving us the results that we want, is because we are vibrating energetically from that place when we take action. And when we do it from that place, we only attract more lack, scarcity, and fear. But when we go through the motions, figure out all the things, your business is a representation of what's going on inside you. Everything outside of you is a representation of what's going on inside of you. So if you are having a hard time, things aren't looking bright, then go within. That is your sign. This is your sign to stop. This is your permission to stop and take a moment. Because when you do that, then you can release what's weighing you, because energy is weight, especially low vibrational energy. Stress, fear, overwhelm, burnout. Not that we're not meant to have it. We're meant to have it, for sure. But not all the time. Stress is a killer. That's just like, we don't need to be stressed out all the time. There's not a lion around the corner trying to eat you. Our bodies are meant for survival mode, yes. Our brains are meant for survival mode. That's why we have it. That's why success is so hard for people, because success is going beyond survival. And that's why it's so hard. That's why you have to be brave and courageous. Our brains were not meant to be successful. That's beyond our brain. It's meant to be just surviving. We're just meant to survive. And we don't want to just survive. We want to thrive. We see the people out there thriving and fucking killing it. Or we think we do. We don't know what's actually on the other side of that. People can look like they were killing it. I looked like I was killing it for many, many, many years, when internally I was fucking not right. I was feeling all the things you've ever felt, which was overwhelmed, feeling like I'm not making enough money, feeling scarcity mindset, feeling lack, continuing to do to the detriment of my own body, to the detriment of my own health, mental health, whatever, not listening, not being aware, masking the things with alcohol and weed or whatever else. I was there. I looked happy. Instagram was the highlight reel. I looked like I was successful. And don't get me wrong, I was making good money, but I wasn't happy doing it. Now I make even better money and I'm fucking from a peaceful place. Like I'm fucking from a peaceful place now. That came out wrong. And I'm doing it from a peaceful place. I'm operating from a place that's of abundance and gratitude and fucking just like this knowing feeling within me that the universe has got my back, that I've got my own fucking back. Because I've cultivated the resources, the rituals, and my spirituality, also in just my own therapy, the way that I do things, the way that I operate. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have triggers. I'm totally going to have triggers for the rest of my life. They're just going to come fewer and far between. And I will also understand how to really soothe myself and get rid of them faster and allow myself to flow through the feeling. We're not trying to get rid of the feeling. That's you trying to, it's like playing a tug of war with a fucking brick wall. You're pulling at a rope that's being held by a brick wall. It ain't going nowhere. You're like, oh, if I just try not to think about it, it'll go away. Maybe for a little while, but then we mask it. We escape it. We try to bypass it with other things, more working, more drinking, more weed, more partying, whatever it is that, is your vice. I'm not saying those things are wrong either, but like, let's not choose to do it to mask something that we're trying not to face. That's the reason why we don't want to do those things. I have a drink every once in a while, and sometimes I smoke weed if I'm feeling it. But for the most part, what I've just noticed in me is that the more I get connected and aware, and the more I awaken into my own spirituality and start to transcend into this new earth being, to this person that's really trying to impact the world in this way, in a holistic way, is that like I operate much more in alignment when I am sober-dober, because I don't need those other things in order to feel free and fun and have a good time. Like I just don't associate a good time with drinking anymore or with weed anymore. It's just not the thing. I associate it with masking. And I'm like, hey, if I'm doing this, what am I doing this for? I always ask myself the little questions and I'm like, oh no, I just want to have a drink. Okay, cool. And then I won't beat myself up about it later. Cool beans, let's do it. But if I ask myself and I'm like, oof, this guy said something to me the other day and I just was like, man, that really bothered me. But I don't want to deal with it right now. So let's have a drink. Then for me, I have enough discipline at this point. Cultivated discipline. You guys, these are all learned experiences. These are all learned habits. It's not just I have this innately inside of me to just do these things. I had to learn these habits. I had to learn how to do this. I had to learn how to take care of myself so that I could be an emotionally intelligent individual to put out the own fires and triggers in my own mind so that I can transcend my business in a holistic and balanced way. And that's why I'm here to tell you that. So if you are feeling the overwhelm, if you are feeling like you're left behind, let me just tell you right now, you are not. You are not. You are perfectly perfect the way you are, where you're at in your journey at all times, forever. But however, if you would like to ask yourself, if you would like to, instead of being like, you know what, I'm going to do the same old things and I'm going to go on the same old journey and take the same old road and perpetuate more overwhelm and burnout in the future, then I'm going to continue to do what I usually do, which is working more, apologizing about it, and whatever. Or you get to choose. You get to choose, which is the coolest fucking part. We are the creators of our own destiny. We are the roadmap. We create the path. So you can choose the different path. You can choose the harder path, the more rocky path, the one that doesn't even really look like a path. It looks like all grown out and rocks are everywhere. And, it's the unknown path. It's the one we can't really see what's at the end. You choose that path. You dive deeper within yourself. You stop all the doing. You get a little still. You start to find the beliefs within yourself and start to heal yourself. And you don't even realize the fucking magical things, the abundance, the wealth, the impact, the community, the clients, the houses, the time freedom. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how much I do? I honestly don't even understand it. I didn't even have enough time to just really do anything else but tattooing. Before I owned a shop, I had a private studio. I did all my own finances. I did all these things, and all of this stuff that I was doing that made me feel more self-worthy because I was doing all these things. I kept telling people, I'm too busy. I can't hang out. Like, ew. I say ew now because I'm, glorifying running myself into the ground. I'm glorifying hustle culture. I'm glorifying sleep when I'm dead mentality. I'm glorifying, let me hurt my body, my mind, and my soul for a dollar bill, which really that dollar bill is just a representation of my worth. And if I don't make enough of those, I'm not worthy. Yikes. No thanks. I operated from that system, for 32 years I'm 34. I've been healing. I've been on a major, major healing journey in the last 2 years. And I've leaps and bounds, you guys, leaps and bounds in my business, doubled my income. I'm a coach. I own a huge shop with a lot of artists that I mentor because they come to me for all these questions. I teach social media marketing to tattooers from a holistic place. I teach business. I'm also becoming an energy healer because I want to help more. I want to help in these energy group healings as well. How do I do all of this stuff? Before I could barely tattoo. I could barely keep up with just the tattooing, the emails, and all this other stuff. It's because now that I operate from a holistic, balanced place within me because I've healed myself, I'm allowing more room to be opened up for the things that I can do, that I want to do, outsource the rest. Be in my zone of genius so that I can evolve in my artwork, get better at my techniques, get better as a coach, get better at all these things. And I still have time to have a life, date, if I want to. You know what I mean? So there is a way. And I hope to inspire you that even though the path of least resistance looks really, really enticing, the other path will actually be the one by the end, teach you how to deal with resistance. And then it becomes easier. So then you're like, well, I got 2 paths of least resistance. Which one just is going to make me feel better? I'm going to go to the one that helps me heal because I want to feel better. All right, guys, so I hope that helped for you today. I just want you to know that I'm here for you and I've got your back. And all these things that you're feeling or could be feeling or have felt, I have been there 110%, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with you. You are perfectly perfect right where you are. But choose the other way, okay? I love you. Please, if you love this episode, please, please, please share it on Instagram. I would love to know your thoughts and how you're feeling about it. If there's any topics that you would like me to touch on, please let me know. This is so fun for me right now, and so I'm just really enjoying it and sharing all of these experiences and this wisdom that I've cultivated over this many years in my business and in my life, and to be able to share it with you guys out there. And I hope that it hits home and it resonates and it touches your souls because I love you, and I will see you in the next episode.